Today is the section 4 of this class, and we are going to be looking at materials and method. Materials and methods. Materials and methods in report writing. So, welcome to section 4. This chapter, materials and methods, is where you describe exactly how the was conducted. No guesswork, no ambiguity. Anyone reading your project should be able to repeat your experiment or survey using this chapter. I repeat, this chapter, Materials and Methods, is where you describe exactly how your study was conducted. No guesswork, no ambiguity. Anyone reading your project should be able to repeat your experiment or survey using this chapter. That's what chapter 3 is all about. Chapter 3 should be very, very clear so that anyone can replicate your experiment anywhere, anytime, any day. The first thing here is to do what? Describe the study area. Describe the location using climate, vegetation, rainfall, temperature, soil type. That's very, very important for crop science, animal science, and soil science students. Soil type is very, very important. You indicate it. Economic activities, important for extension and economics. Yeah, economic activities is very important for extension and agri-economy students. Give enough details to help the reader understand the environment. Experimental design. Okay, I failed to tell you it should be numbered in this way. 3.1, study area, which is what I just listed for you. Describe the location using climate, vegetation, rainfall, temperature, and soil type for crop science, animal science, and soil science. Economic activities. That this one is important for extension and agri-economics students. Give enough data, enough details to help the reader understand the environment. It's very, very important. The second one is number 3.2, which is experimental design for crop, animal, and soil science students. Explain your design, whether completely randomized design, that's CRD, randomized complete block design, RCBD, split plot design, or Latin square design. These are 4 possible designs you can use in animal science, crop science, and soil science. Describe treatments, replications, layouts, number of animals or plots, experimental procedure. Yes, experimental procedures. I repeat again, describe treatments, replications, layouts, number of animals or plots, experimental procedures. Animal science students must specify breed, age, and sex, housing, feed formulation, managing practices. Yeah, these are very, very important for students of what? Animal science. 3.3, sampling techniques. For economics and extension students, this is where you explain population, sample size, sampling method, whether you're using random, multi-stage, or purposive sampling. Yeah, this is where you mention that, whether you're using the sampling method you're using for those in economics, whether you're using the random sampling method, the multi-stage method, or purposive what sample or purposive sampling. How how you determined the sample size. Yeah, this is important. You state it. Data collection instruments. Yeah, whether it's a questionnaire, or interview schedule. 3.4, data collection. Data collection. Explain field measurements, laboratory analysis, questionnaires, observation methods, variables measured. Every variable in your objectives must appear here. Statistical analysis. That's 3.5. Statistical analysis. Different departments use different tools. Animal science, crop science, soil science. They use the analysis of variance, that's ANOVA, Duncan multiple range test, DMRT, or regression sometimes, though we don't use regression much. ANOVA, that's analysis of variance, and Duncan multiple range test, DMRT. These are the most prominent. In agric economics and extension, they use descriptive statistics, the Likert scale, or OLOS regression, logit or probit methods, gross margin analysis. These are possible in agric economics and extension. Your statistical tool must match your objective. Yeah, your statistical tool must match your objectives. So that is about chapter 3. That is all about chapter 3. So next thing we are going to look at is chapter 4. Sorry, chapter 5 and references. Chapter 5 and references. That's the next thing we are going to look at. So, chapter 4 and chapter 5 and referencing. Yeah, we are looking at chapter 4, chapter 5 and referencing. So, let's finish strong. Chapter 4, results and discussion. Remember, chapter 1 was introduction. Chapter 2 was literature review. Chapter 3, materials and methods. Chapter 4, results and discussion. That's where we are right now. This chapter presents your findings clearly and scientifically. Your tables should be neat, labeled, and in the correct order. When discussing results, do not repeat the table. Interpret what the table means. Compare your findings with literature. Explain why the results are happening. Highlight significant differences. Example, for those in crop science, the application of 300 kg per hectare NPK significantly increased plant height compared to the control. This agrees with the findings of Ali 2021. For someone in animal science, broiler feeds broilers fed 10% moringa leaf meal recorded the best feed conversion ratio, similar to the report of Musa 2020. Yeah. For someone in economics, you can have something like farm size and access to credit significantly influenced maize output, consistent with Adekoya 2018. Be scientific, clear, and logical. It is just very, very clear. That's chapter 4 for you. Very simple and direct. Now, let's look at chapter 5, which is summary, conclusion, and recommendations. Here, you summarize everything in simple, clear language. Let's look at summary. Mention what you studied, how you studied it, your major findings. I repeat, mention what you studied. That's in summary. Mention what you studied, how you studied it, your findings, and that's it. For conclusion, this must directly follow your findings. Do not introduce new information. Yes, keep your conclusion within the context of your work. Don't introduce any new thing. Leave your conclusion within the context of your work. Of course, everything in your conclusion should be within the results found in your chapter what? 4. For recommendations, make recommendations based on your results only, not personal opinion. Your personal opinion, nobody sought your personal opinion in your project. Recommendations should strictly be based on your findings, what the results of your work says, not what you think. What your results says, not what you think. So that's about recommendation. So I repeat, make recommendations based on your results only, nothing more, nothing less, not personal opinion. For example, based on the findings, application of 300 kg per hectare NPK is recommended for improved okra yield in Umudike. You may also add policy recommendations, suggestions for further research. So these are important. References. Use only one referencing style throughout. Every institution has their own referencing style. As I said at the beginning of this lecture, I think on the second day of the lecture, we have different referencing styles. We have the APA, that's the American Psychological Society. We have the Harvard, we have the MLA, though that one is rarely used. Different institutions have their own. So make sure that the referencing style you are adopting, you're using, is the one you approved by your institution. Anything other than that, you may be working on your own. Try to always find out what is acceptable to your institution and use that particular referencing style. Like I also said in the other class, referencing will make our time to do what? Take referencing as a topic of discussion one of the days. So a good reference contains the name of the author, year of publication, title, journal, volume, page, and in most cases, you have something like the DOI. Example, let's look at an example of a reference here. Okoro BC and Eze VC 2020. Between that 2020 is in parentheses. Full stop. You now get the name, the title of the work. Effect of poultry manure on maize growth. Full stop. Journal of Agronomy. 15 in parentheses 2. That's volume 15. And you now have the page 1122 to 120, as the case may be. Make sure every in-text citation appears in the reference list. Every citation made in the course of your writing must appear on your reference list. Every citation. must appear in your reference list. That is all for now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have completed preliminary pages, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, and references, even though I will revisit references on a later date. I believe you are now fully equipped to write a strong, acceptable, and scientific final year project in your department. Yes, I believe you can do that if you follow this my training from day one to you today. Yeah, I believe you can comfortably beat your chest and write your project without necessarily starting with an AI tool. If you followed our training, if you follow this training. So if you have any question now or anytime in the future, you can always come back and drop your question under this particular post, under this particular um live stream, this video, because I will leave it here for some time. Always come here to ask your question and I will do justice to that. I will guide you through. And don't forget, keep your eyes on our channel. We will be teaching you practical things that you need to succeed in agriculture from time to time here. We'll be going live every 8 p.m. It's between 8 and 9 p.m. every day on this channel, discussing practical agriculture, and 9 a.m. in the morning every day to discuss academics as it affects agriculture. If you have any question, drop it in the comment section. I will react to them between now. We have about 5 minutes, or yep, about 10 minutes to take questions. That's if you have any. I have about 10 minutes to take questions and do them wrap up today's live stream. Waiting for your questions. If you are just joining, we just discussed chapter 3, chapter 4, and 5 today. That's materials and methods, results and discussion. Yes. And the last but not the least, we discussed summary, conclusion, and recommendations, and referencing. Yeah, references. Those are the things we just discussed within the last 20 minutes. It's very brief and straight to the point. If you have any question, any confusion, just drop your question and I will respond to you. We have about 8 minutes to do that. I will go over to the next class management. So they are waiting. Their lecture will start by 6 o'clock. I need to get some time and prepare for them. So if you're here, just drop your questions. We have about 7 minutes to leave here. Thank you as I wait for your questions.